Ladies and gentlemen, this is Keep Whispering, coming to you once again from the back of my classroom. A few of you may recognize the young woman before you in the picture. But for those of you who don't, her name is Alice Pleasance Little. And this lovely young lady is the Alice that Lewis Carroll based his Alice in Wonderland stories off of. This is the Alice that he wrote his stories for. I have a copy of Alice's Adventures Through the Looking Glass in my hand right now. It's an older paperback copy from 1960. The pages have taken on that lovely yellow shade that old books tend to get. The pages have also taken on that lovely, lovely old book smell. Which I just can't get enough of. I'm a big fan of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, although my preference of the two is Through the Looking Glass. I find it a little more absurd, and I enjoy the stories in it more than in the original. My favorite section in the book is when Alice encounters the White Knight, and he recites the poem to her that I'm about to recite to you. As he goes along, he refers to it by many names. At first he calls it Haddock's Eyes. Then he calls it the aged man. He then calls it Ways and Means. And finally, he calls it A Sittin' on a Gate. Regardless of the title, I think it's a lovely poem, and I'm going to read it to you now. I'll tell thee everything I can, there's little to relate. I saw an aged man, a-sitting on a gate. Who are you, aged man, I said, and how is it you live? And his answer trickled through my head like water through a sieve. He said, I look for butterflies that sleep among the wheat. I make them into mutton pies and sell them in the street. I sell them unto men, he said, who sail on stormy seas. And that's the way I get my bread, a trifle, if you please. But I was thinking of a plan to dye one's whiskers green and always use so large a fan that they could not be seen. So, having no reply to give to what the old man said, I cried, "Come tell me how you live," and thumped him on the head. His accent smiled, took up the tale. He said, "I go my ways, and when I find a mountain rill, I set it in a blaze, and thence make a stuff they call Roland's Macassar oil. Yet 2 pence halfpenny is all they give me for my toil." But I was thinking of a way to feed oneself on batter, and so go on from day to day, getting a little fatter. I shook him well from side to side until his face was blue. "Come tell me how you live," I cried, "and what it is you do." He said, "I hunt for haddock's eyes among the heather bright, and work them into waistcoat buttons in the silent night. And these I do not sell for gold or coin of silvery shine, but for a copper halfpenny, and that will purchase 9. I sometimes dig for buttered rolls, or set limed twigs for crabs. I sometimes search the grassy knolls for wheels of handsome cabs. And that's the way," he gave a wink, "by which I get my wealth, and very gladly I will drink your honor's noble health." I heard him then, for I had just completed my design to keep the Menai bridge from rust by boiling it in wine. I thanked him much for telling me the way he got his wealth, but chiefly for his wish that he might drink my noble health. And now, if e'er by chance I put my finger into glue, or madly squeeze a right-hand foot into a left-hand shoe, or if I drop upon my toe a very heavy weight, I weep, for it reminds me so of that old man I used to know, whose look was mild, whose speech was slow, whose hair was whiter than the snow, whose face was very like a crow, with eyes all cinders, all aglow, who seemed distracted with his woe, who rocked his body to and fro, and muttered, mumbling and low, as if his mouth were full of dough, who snorted like a buffalo that summer evening long ago, a-sitting on a gate. Thanks for listening, friends. Talk to you soon.